So the reality is running huge, expensive LLMs is just very expensive. So normally we're able to come in and reduce the cost by about 85 to 95%, just because running a smaller model is a lot cheaper. Another thing we're really excited about, and we actually just launched, is the ability to take those models and then run them on device.
Welcome to GenAI Talks.
Let's talk a little bit about your role at Datawizz. Yeah, I can give the quick spiel about myself. Iddo, based in the Bay Area, spent the last 10 years building companies. So my last company was in the API integration space called Rapid API. Obviously with the recent AI wave, kind of realized, hey, I feel like there is a huge opportunity to kind of help and build tools for developers in the AI space. You asked about what I'm really passionate about. I feel like that's it, like building tools and enabling other developers. And when we kind of looked more into the AI space, realized that AI has a huge cost problem. So everybody is building on top of huge LLMs like GPT-4 and Claude 4 that are kind of built to be great at everything. But because they are optimized to do good at everything, so speak hundreds of languages, codes for hundreds of programming languages, know everything about history, art, legal, and every other space, they're very inefficient and expensive to run. So we built Datawizz to solve that. What is the number one way that you are tackling this problem? Like how are you doing that? Because that's a big topic that you're talking about. We realized that instead of using general purpose models that are kind of good at everything, we can substitute them with specialized models that are good at one thing, the one thing that you care about, but they're really good at that. So on average, we replace a 1 trillion parameter model with about a 1 billion parameter model that is fine-tuned for that specific task. And that's because it's 1,000 times smaller, so it's going to be a lot cheaper, it's going to be a lot faster, and it's going to be much easier to run and scale everywhere. Usually the process starts with us sitting in between the application and the LLM. So we would sit as a proxy, and we would record every request that you send over. And then we can start clustering them and identifying very common queries that you send over. So it's like, hey, you ask about this topic a lot, so let's go and train a special model just to answer that topic. So let's say you build a lawyer AI, but we see there's a lot of questions about estate planning in the UK in a very specific format. We'll go and train a specific model just to answer those types of queries. It's going to be very good at doing just that one thing and really bad at everything else. But then our smart layer can automatically route requests in that space to that specific model. So the idea is, instead of having one model that's good at everything, to have a set of tiny models that are only good at one thing. What are the areas that you think are most pressingly in need of this kind of radical optimization? Are we talking like edge computing? Are we talking like what is it where you really need to? Yeah, so a lot of time the biggest driver for us is costs. So the reality is running huge, expensive LLMs is just very expensive. So normally we're able to come in and reduce the cost by about 85 to 95%, just because running a smaller model is a lot cheaper. Another thing we're really excited about, and we actually just launched, is the ability to take those models and then run them on device. So once you have a specialized tiny model, you can actually download it and run it on your iPhone. You can run it on your computer and your browser. So now companies are actually able to push AI to the edge. And then in terms of costs, data privacy and latency, it's going to be much better than trying to run huge, expensive LLMs in the cloud. And there's a lot of cases where, it just might not make sense. If you need to call to the cloud every time, and you're paying $10 plus per million tokens, it might not make sense. But when you suddenly have a model you can run on the edge a lot more efficiently, entire swaths of new use cases suddenly open up. Let's project ourselves forward X number of years in the future. You're going to have traffic lights. You're going to have everything should have essentially a tiny chip that has got the ability to run this. Especially, yeah, every decision will have a small model that backs it up. And the idea that you can push all those models to the edge and run them where the users are and where the data is actually makes that feasible, in my opinion. I'll try something here, but I think that AI, from a thinking perspective, AI is actually pretty capable today. For me, at least personally, the biggest area where it's lacking is integration. So I want to talk to an AI, but I want it to have access to my email. I want it to have access to my calendar. I want it to have access to my contacts. And it can't be a hodgepodge thing. It needs to have access to my entire digital life so it can have full context and be able to take action on my behalf. And I feel like that's interesting because we almost got to the point where the AI piece of that is easy. the integration and API access and web scraping part is the harder one. And I feel like from a personal perspective, that will be the next kind of step function improvement in how I'm able to use AI. Yeah, and I think, my dream, today you can kind of go to an AI and say, hey, I have this conference in Paris in these dates. Like, can you find me a flight? And here's the address for the conference, like which hotel should I stay in? The dream for my mind, it should be, next cycle is, hey, I'm going to a conference in Paris, look it up in my inbox to see where I'm going, suggest flights and hotel. Next iteration after that is just book it for me. Next iteration after that is I don't even have to say anything. The AI just say, hey, I saw you register for this conference. Here's your travel plan. Let me know if you want to change anything. Like that I think is where agentic workflows get really cool.
Big ideas, real tools, bold moves. That's what GenAI Talks is all about. Don't miss what's next. Subscribe and explore more in our GenAI community.